I can still remember that day as if it was yesterday. My mother, my younger sister, and I, we are packed in a vehicle like sardines as we fled a political unrest in my country, Sierra Leone, to the neighboring country of Liberia. It was my first experience of fleeing my country because of war. I was 4 years of age. Can you imagine? 4 years of age, my first experience. My second flight was in 1995, when the bloody rebel war forced me to seek refuge in the Netherlands. The transition from Sierra Leone to the Netherlands, I would compare like rooting out a mango tree from West Africa and planting it in Western Europe. Can you imagine what happens? Has any one of you seen mangoes growing on trees in Western Europe? I have not seen it. It is impossible. Impossible. But I am possible. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Babah Tarawally. I'm your guide for the next 15 minutes, taking you on a ride to experience with me my life journey that has shaped me to become an author of 3 books, a public speaker, an actor, and a trainer. But most of all, a life journey that has helped me to be confident and strong, to believe in myself, to be happy with myself, and also to help me to forgive and to reconcile with my past. I can imagine most of you thinking, how did this tropical mango grow in Western Europe? How did it happen? Well, it was not an easy task. First of all, when I came to Europe, I thought life would be easy. I thought everything would be it would be a walkover. I come in and everything is just fine. Forget it. My experience is different. When I came to the Netherlands, the first thing that happened to me was I was confined to an asylum center. When we talk about walls, confined to an asylum center, which is very different from the normal Dutch people, how they behave, how they live. So in this asylum center, I stayed there for 7 good years without papers. 7 years is not 7 minutes. It's not 7 hours. It's not 7 months. 7 good years, I am confined with thousands of other people living together. It was a terrible experience, especially when we had demonstrations, Dutch people demonstrating against us, that we are not welcome, that we should leave. It is terrible. And I had a feeling that things will not get better. That is when I was trapped in what I call the BlackWhite Thinking. Anyone knows what the BlackWhite Thinking is? I will explain to you. I believe that the BlackWhite Thinking is one of a form of depression. Because we live in that center, thousands of us, most of us coming from war, traumatized. We all live together and we have the same story of trauma, torture, only bad things. So we exchange only bad things about what happens in our countries of origin. And that made us to become very depressive. We were depressed. So I decided I cannot live in this situation like this. I was not getting happy at all. So I decided I need to go outside of that system, which is making me so depressed, which is keeping me in that wall of depression. So how can I come out? When you are trapped in BlackWhite Thinking, how can you come out? My recent book, in Dutch they call it Kapangan in Zwart-Wit Denken and Hoe kunnen we ontsnappen, Trapped in BlackWhite Thinking and How We Can Escape. I said more on that, what happened to me in my 7 years. So if you have the opportunity, go through them. So while I was trapped, I called my father back home to tell him life is not moving with me anywhere. My life is not changing because I don't have my papers. Nothing happens. I cannot move from A to B. I'm trapped just because I don't have my papers. I told my father that this paper thing is killing me. But I also use it as an excuse to tell him that things are not working out for me. So every time I call my father to tell him about how this paper thing is keeping me back. So one day, the old man reacted. My son, every time I speak to you, you tell me this story about papers, you don't have papers, you don't have papers. He said, but here where we are, we have a lot of papers. We have papers everywhere. If you need papers, I will send them for you. He said, because when you were here, you didn't have your papers, and you were doing great. Why should this paper thing keep you away from doing things? Why does this paper thing keep you away from enjoying the gift of this world? He asked, do you need papers to breathe in fresh air? Do you need papers to make friends? Do you need papers to enjoy the stars, the beauty of the sun, the moonlight? That was the last day I ever spoke to my father about papers. After that, I decided I have to change the way I do things. I have to change my life. I have to build a community of people who believe in me. I have to build a community of people who believe in me. But how to do that? I knew only living with this asylum center with my friends there is not helping me out. So I decided one of the first things to do when you want to escape from BlackWhite thinking is to change your way of doing things a bit. So I decided to make friends out of the asylum center. And the first way to do that was to join a sports club. I decided to go to the football field to say, I want to be part of you guys. So with the football, I made friends with Dutch boys with the same age. We play football together, and we talk about different things because they don't talk about trauma, about war. That is not their experience. So for the fact that I made friendship with them, helped me to give space in my head to start to think about other things, about other possibilities. After that, I decided to join a volleyball team. But these were people also who were older. Most of them were married, they have kids. So I joined the volleyball team, and every week we go to different villages. And we play volleyball. And after volleyball, we go to drink together. I start to speak to them. They tell me different stories. They invite me to their families. We go to the beach together. They were like uncles to me. And then I thought about the third one. I need to join a congregation of believers. I decided to go to the church, despite the fact that I remain a Muslim. Because I knew how the church was powerful, how people who believe, how they can relate with my story. So I went to the church every Sunday. And what happened? Every Sunday morning, people from the church would come with their car to pick me up from the asylum center. And they would take me to the church. After the church congregation, I would speak to people, and one family is ready to take me to their home to spend the whole of the Sunday with them. There, I meet their kids. I play with their kids. I see how Dutch tradition and culture works, how Dutch people behave with their kids, how they treat their kids like equals, how they speak to them. It was different from where I come from. So I thought, wow. So I saw a lot of things that the Dutch people do, which I did admire. So that helped me greatly to connect. So certain times when I moved to the city with my friends from the asylum center, when we go on the street, people greet me, hello, Babah, everywhere, Babah. And they say, what? Do you know them? I said, yes, they know me. I knew at that time that I have built a community of people who believe in me. So I was getting less depressed because I have a community with me. So 7 years later, I got my status. I thought, great. Now the African tropical mango will start to grow. But how can this tropical mango grow in a place where the weather is unfriendly, where it is chilly at night, freaking cold in the winter, and where the summer is unpredictable? But the difference is that I am not a mango. I am a human being. The African philosophy of Ubuntu that teaches that you are a human being through other human beings, that I am because you are, that connection of humanity is a lesson I got from my grandmother back home in Sierra Leone. My grandmother taught me that you can only be a human being when you accept that others are also human beings. So the mango could not grow here because the mango didn't meet other mangoes. I'm a human being. I'm here, and it is winter, very, very cold, but I'm still alive. I'm not dead. Because a human being can adapt. And these mangoes cannot adapt to the weather here. So I thought, I can now do everything I want. I have my papers, I can go to school, to the university, I can have a job, I can do anything I want. But what I forgot was that the struggle has just started. 7 years of doing nothing. Now you are asked to behave like a Dutch, to do everything like how Dutch people do it. It is a big challenge. So then I thought, how can I go through this barrier again, through this wall of, you have opportunities, but you don't know how to start. You don't know how to start. So it became a very big challenge to me. I will tell you a story about how this philosophy of Ubuntu was put into me by my grandmother as a child. So when my mother and my younger sister and I, when we returned back from Liberia, after the political turmoil in my country, Sierra Leone, has calmed down, my mother decided to leave me with her mother, my grandmother, for upbringing. In Africa, we call that division of labor. Though my mother had 5 kids, it was the responsibility of the whole town to take care of us. Like the African saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. That was applicable to me. Everybody in my village had the responsibility to take care of me. So it was easy. So my mom left me with my grandmother for upbringing. But I had a lot of clothes in my box. And the kids around where my grandmother lives, they don't have clothes. Most of them don't have clothes to wear. They don't even have shoes to wear. And I had all these things I brought with me. So what happened? My grandmother decided, what was a terrible mistake, to give my clothes away to other kids without informing me. Can you imagine? I was angry. I came back from school. I saw my grandmother sitting down in the veranda. I said humbly to her, "Hello, Grandma." I went to my room to change my uniform. I opened the box. My clothes were gone. Only 3 shorts, 3 underwears, 3 shirts. That's what was in. The rest are gone. My beautiful lace gown was also gone. It was terrible. I shouted, and my grandmother came in. "What is the problem?" I said, "My clothes are gone." "Where are they?" She said, "Baba, I'm trying to teach you the act of sharing and caring. Poverty is about comparison. You are here with a lot of clothes, and the other kids don't have clothes. How does that feel?" I put my hands in my ears not to hear her Samaritan preaching. I was annoyed. Those are my clothes. Those clothes was part of my identity. But now they are all gone. So my grandmother said, "You will not miss them." And she was right. I started wearing those clothes. And I didn't miss those clothes that were gone at a certain time. So my life changed forever, how I look at things. The second part was when I was playing football. We had a competition. The opposite team, my best friend was in the opposite team. And I had my football shoes on. And he doesn't have shoes on. So I decided to take, because he was left foot and I'm right foot. So I decided to take my left foot shoe and give it to him to play football. And what happened? We lost the match. And this friend of mine scored a hat trick. So all my colleagues in the other team were telling me, Baba, you are responsible that we lost this match. I said, but how can I be responsible just for lending my friend a shoe? So when I said it to my grandmother what I have done, she told me, Baba, you have done the right thing. Going back to this philosophy of sharing and caring, about this Ubuntu philosophy, which my grandmother told me, that when you have it in you, it will help you to see other people as humans. It will help you to learn to share and care. All the boundaries and walls we're talking about will be gone when you have the feeling that you are talking to another human being. You are having contact with another human being, not with a mango. And she told me, Baba, don't forget that you are alive today because of those who came before you. Those who came before you, don't forget them. Because of them, you are here today. That makes you a human. Literally, what my grandmother was telling me is that I am a human being and not a mango. To conclude, the philosophy that teaches you to go beyond the we and them thinking, that helps you to build a community of people who believe in you, is one of the first steps to feel human. We can start to see each other as human beings and not to see me and them. Me and them. In the Ubuntu philosophy, the we is the only one that exists. The them does not exist. So there's no they, them in Ubuntu philosophy. It's we as human beings together. So if you want to go beyond that, beyond the we and them thinking, the first thing you have to do, because you don't have to try to change the world at once. You have to start small. Start with your neighborhood. We say in English, charity begins at home. Start small. See your neighbors, people around you, see them as human beings. Make contact. Say hello to somebody who is your neighbor. Say hello to your neighbor. Go to your neighbor and ask them questions. Because when we don't ask questions, we have stereotypes. We build up stereotypes because we don't ask questions. Ask questions. There is this story of this Moroccan neighbor I live with in Utrecht. This man lived very close to me. He's a man of age around 75 years of age. So he decides every night to walk. So he will be having his machines at night through the walls, making reparations. I didn't have a problem with him because when I sleep, I'm almost dead. But I had these new Dutch neighbors who came to live there shortly. The next day they told me, Baba, don't you have a problem with this guy, this man? Every night he's walking and we can't sleep. So I told them, I will be awake this night to see what is happening. So I didn't sleep early. So I waited and I had him in the machine, in the wall. I got out, went to the door, and I rang the bell. He opened the window with a big smile. Hey, my neighbor. I said, hello. I said, but I cannot sleep because you are making a lot of noise. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought when you sleep, you don't hear anything. So this is the way how he thinks. He thinks he's doing the right thing because he's working at night. Everybody's asleep. So I told him, no. You have to work in the daytime. He said, but then you guys are awake. I said, it doesn't matter. We are working. We are at work. We don't work in the day. He said, okay, I will never do it anymore. So the next day, I met my Dutch friends. I told them what had happened. They all started laughing. Because we didn't engage him. You cannot know why he thinks like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you with this. Start small. See your neighbor. Say hi to somebody around you. Invite them for tea, coffee, lunch, dinner. Make changes around you. Join a neighborhood association that helps your neighborhood. You start small. And when you start small, you start not only your neighborhood, you start to build your village. And from your village, you start to build a town, a city, a country. You can build a continent. And effectively, the whole world. Let's make humanity great again. Thank you very much.